Welcome back, friends. It's been a while since I've done a vintage glass nail design, and since it's my all-time favorite, I thought it was time to try another design. This time I'm using a cat eye dip powder, Moonlit from Whimsy Nail Co. This was a freebie if you shopped their recent 1-year anniversary sale, but Lindsay was kind enough to send it over to me to try. And I'll be completely honest, I was a little bit nervous because the only cat eye dip powders I've tried are from Double Dipped, and Tracy does absolutely amazing cat eyes. So I wasn't sure how this one was going to go, but the results just blew me away. So if this sounds like something you're interested in, let's go ahead and get into it. I don't normally do dip powder press-ons, but if you saw my previous video, I accidentally tore a little bit of my natural nail, so I don't want to do anything on top of them until they heal. So the nail stands that I'm using, they are non-magnetic, so this is an option from the Cat Prince. Because I'm working with cat eyes, I want to make sure that I'm not using a magnetic nail stand because that could interfere with the cat eye effect, and I want them to be as cat eye-y as possible. So I will be using dip liquids. This is the Whimsy Nail Co European base coat. So she has two different types of base coats. There's the regular one, which is a quick dry, and the European is about a medium dry time. And you want to make sure if you're working with dip liquids that it's not too fast drying, or else you won't be able to get that cat eye effect. I guess I shouldn't say you won't be able to get the cat eye effect with a fast drying dip liquid, but it's going to be more difficult because it's already tricky enough working with dip liquids. It's so much easier with gel, but I do want to show you that it is achievable with dip liquids. So for my first layer, I'm just doing a regular dip. I'm not doing cat eye. I'm not doing anything special. So I'm just applying a thin, even layer of dip base to the entire tip, and then I'm dipping into the powder just to cover the entire nail. So when I'm applying the dip liquids, I want to make sure that I'm being careful that I'm not getting any on the underside of the tip because that can affect the fit. So I'm just making sure it's a thin layer on top of everything and then just dipping into the powder. I also want to do one full dip first before I do anything special because this dip isn't fully opaque in one layer. So I want to make sure that I build up that opacity so that for my final layer, that's when I magnetize it. And even though it's not fully opaque in one layer, I did get full opacity with just 2 layers. Of course, you can do as many layers as you like. I'm just sticking with 2 because I'm going to do the 3D nail art on top and I don't want my nails to be too bulky. So if you do additional layers, just remember that you only need to magnetize your final layer. So I went ahead and dusted off the excess powder when my first layer was dry, and now I'm going to get ready for my second and final layer. So I've got my magnet ready. I'm applying a little more dip base than I normally do to the nail, making sure I've got it entirely covered. And this is where you have to work a bit quicker for your final layer. So I'm going to go ahead and dip into the powder after I've got that dip base on. And the magnetic particles need to be wet in order to move it around. So after I dip in, I'm going to go in with another layer of dip base. I'm not going to wipe off the excess powder because it's still wet and that could mess up the layer. So I'm just gently floating in that dip base. And then while it's still wet, I'm now going to take my magnet and I'm going to start magnetizing. So I just want to bring those magnetic particles to the surface. So to the one side, I move my magnet up and down to pull in those particles. And once I've got them moving around, as you see, this is really fun. It is such a beautiful cat eye. But once I've got them moved around, I'm now going to activate. So I want to now freeze those magnetic particles. So this is when you have to work really quickly. So now your dip base is drying even faster with that activator. So that's when you want to magnetize it until it's fully dry. So I'm just moving it around to get the design I want, trying to hopefully get the design I want before that activator completely dries that dip base. So it's a little easier. I think my personal preference is to use a horseshoe magnet, but I decided to use this little cylindrical magnet just because it's harder to use a horseshoe magnet on a nail stand. It's easier on your actual fingers. So that's what I'm doing here, just moving it around. And this was real time. So you can see now that that's dry, it's no longer going to move around on me. That design is frozen in place. So let me show you one more nail. So apply a little bit more dip base onto the entire nail, dip into the powder, tap off the excess powder as much as possible, and then immediately go in with another layer of dip base, floating it a little bit. So I am wiping it on a lint-free wipe to remove that excess powder, and then I'm going to magnetize on the side to bring up those magnetic particles, moving it up and down to one side, getting those particles moving around. And once I feel like I've got a good flow of those magnetic particles, I'm now going to float on Activator to start drying that dip base. And that's when I need to move quickly to move around the magnet to get the design how I want it until it's fully dry. So keep moving it around until it's not moving anymore and it's fully dry. If you stop moving it around and it's not fully dry, your particles are going to start to dissipate and you're going to lose your design. So I'm just moving it around until it's dry, and then I'm going to continue on. So I'm going to show you one more nail, but I'm going to let you watch this one. I finished up the rest of my nails off camera, and I did give them a super light buff just to smooth out the surface of the nails, but I didn't want to go too crazy because I didn't cap them in clear. The design isn't protected, so I didn't want to file off that cat eye design. But now I'm going in with a layer of gel base coat to all the nails. I'm going to give that a full cure for 60 seconds, and then I'm going to go in with a matte gel top coat. And the reason why I'm using a matte top coat is because the 3D vintage glass design is going to be glossy and it's going to really pop against a matte top coat base. Because if I had a glossy base and then did a glossy design, they're going to kind of compete with each other and it's not going to pop as much. So after the top coat, I cured for a full 60 seconds. And now we're going to get into this really fun 3D nail design. And if you've seen my other designs before, you know this Yogo Mayo 𝓷𝓸𝓽𝓮𝓼 is my absolute favorite for 3D nail art. It looks thinner and runnier, but it works so well for 3D nail art. You can purchase this at Sweetie Nail Supply, and if you do purchase this or anything else from there, I do have an affiliate code, so you can use code Jeannie10 to save 10% off your orders. I am trying a new vintage glass design. This is inspired by some glasses that I saw off of Amazon. I want to buy them so badly, but the last thing I need in this house are more cups. So for now, it's just going to be a design on my nails. I'm using dotting tools for this design. So I started with a larger dot at the center of my nail and I flash cured that. And around my center dot, I'm doing really tiny dots all around it. After each dot, I'm flash curing. And it's not because of the gel, because the gel, even though it seems like it's runny, it actually stays put and doesn't run on me. But I want to flash cure after each of these small dots because I don't want them to run into each other if I accidentally touch them. So if I mess up one, I can wipe it off and not affect the other ones because they're flash cured. So there's just multiple reasons why it's better to just flash cure in between. So I'm just doing each dot going around that center, making sure that I'm not touching the other dot. I want them close but not touching, but at least like if I accidentally touch the next one, I can just wipe away the one that I did that's not flash cured and just keep going. So you can just use some isopropyl alcohol and a lint-free wipe. That's the really great thing about working with gel is it's not set until you cure it. Now, I will say I am being a little bit risky here because I'm flash curing without covering up my pot of gel. So even though I am further away from that pot, there is still that chance that those lights could get to the pot of gel and start curing it. So I would recommend best practice is cover up your pot, flash cure, and then you can uncover it and then keep covering it up when you flash cure. Don't do what I do. I got lucky, but it's best practice to cover up your gel, make sure you're safe, because I would be super sad if I cured this pot because I love this gel so much. My next row is going to be about medium-sized dots. So they're going to be smaller than my center dot, but larger than that first row of dots that I just did. So it's handy to have multiple size dotting tools so that you're not trying to figure out how to make uniform different sized dots. So I'm dipping my dotting tool into the gel, making sure I don't have too much gel on it. And at least every couple of dots, I'm dipping back into the pot. So even though there's still gel on my dotting tool, I want my dots to be about the same size. And if I continue on with the gel that's already on my tool, the more I do, the less gel that's on my tool. So the dots will start to get smaller. So dipping back into my pot of gel to get more gel helps me get more uniform sized dots. Hopefully that makes sense to you. For the next part of my design, I'm going to create petals using the petal brush number 5 from Sweetie Nail Supply. Ever since I figured out how to use this, I've been obsessed with creating petals. So I dip my brush into the gel, and I start with no pressure at the top of the row of dots that I just created, and I brush upwards, and as I'm applying upwards, I apply more pressure in the middle, and then I release pressure to bring it up to a point at the top. So what I figured out, it's really about the pressure that you use and when to apply it. So you don't just do like a stroke with the same amount of pressure. So this really creates like the perfect petal where it's tapered at the top and the bottom, but the most amount of bulk, the wideness is at the middle of it. So when I start with less pressure at the bottom, it's like that pointy bottom. And then as I get towards the center, I start applying more pressure so that the brush fans out and becomes wider. And then once I get that width, I start letting go of that pressure, moving up towards the top, and that creates that point at the top. And while it's not perfect, I think it looks so good. And I definitely don't want it to be perfect because I want it to be kind of different and unique. This has turned out to be my most favorite nail design ever, no exaggeration. I am so giddy with the way this turned out and that I actually did it, because sunflowers are my absolute favorite flower. So I'm definitely going to be saving this design, and you'll probably be seeing it again because there's no way I'm not doing this again. So I went ahead and did my middle finger with the same design off camera, but for the remainder of the nails, I didn't want my nails to be too busy with the same design because I really wanted them to pop. So for the remainder of my nails, I'm just going to do like a ribbed glass nail design. So vertical striped lines down those nails, and that way the two sunflower patterns will be accents. So I'm using my Sweetie Nail Supply liner brush number 2. I'm dipping that in the gel, and I'm starting with my center line. So at the center of the nail, I'm drawing a line vertically up that nail. So that's going to kind of be my guide. And then once I've got that center line, I'm going to do lines on both sides of it. And so I'm not going to make them really tight. I am going to leave some space in between those lines. And I'm not flash curing in between, so this is real time. So you can see that even though the gel looked runny in the pot, for whatever reason, it stays put. It doesn't run on me when I'm doing 3D nail art. I swear by this non-white builder gel for 3D nail art. I don't want to use anything else because I love this one so much. I'm going to do the same design for the other 2 nails off camera, and once I have the stripe design on all the nails, I'm going to go ahead and give them a full cure for 60 seconds. I went ahead and applied my press-ons off camera, and as always, I'm going to finish off my mani by rehydrating my cuticles. This is an oil created by Scales of a Mermaid exclusively for Whimsy Nail Co, so you'll only find it on their website. This is Bellinis at Sunset. I am absolutely obsessed. It smells exactly like a peach Bellini. She first released it in a cuticle balm, but now she has it in an oil, and I'm so glad to see it in oil because I could just bathe in this all day long. I absolutely love that Whimsy collaborated with Scales of a Mermaid for skincare, because you already know how much I love Scales of a Mermaid products. I wouldn't be an ambassador for them if I wasn't obsessed, and I've been equally obsessed with Whimsy Nail Co. But after I finish applying my cuticle oil, my nails aren't matte anymore, so I'm just going to take some isopropyl alcohol and a lint-free wipe to rub them down. That's going to remove the oil, and once that alcohol evaporates and dries, my nails are going to be matte again. So that pretty much wraps up today's mani, and to say I'm obsessed is an understatement. Vintage glass nails will always be my all-time favorite. I cannot get over doing them, so hopefully you're not sick of them because I never want to stop. So if you're still here, drop me a sunflower emoji down below in the comments. So I hope this video is helpful, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, I'd appreciate if you gave this video a thumbs up. It lets me know to continue creating content like this, and it also helps YouTube recommend me to others, which helps grow my channel. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I upload content every Monday and Thursday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. As always, I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!